I'll just go ahead and run the meeting.
We're live, pal.
Okay. I'd like to call the meeting to order of the Kearney Parks and Rec Park and Tree Board for Tuesday, July 21st, 2026. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have taken roll. We have 5 members present, 4 here at the dais and 1 via Zoom, Lisa Cheesebro. So we do have a quorum. I need a motion to approve tonight's agenda. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Lisa?
Yep, aye.
Okay, the agenda is approved for tonight. I need a motion of approval of the minutes from Tuesday, May 19th meeting. We did not have a quorum in June, so do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for May the 19th.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
We have no public requests and petitions tonight, so I'll give you some park updates. Whole park update, guys, we're getting close. The Board of Aldermen approved the notice to proceed and a contract with Sands Construction at a Board of Aldermen meeting. They were the low bidder. We have received all of the information. Sheila has signed the contracts per the resolution. And we're just waiting to get the actual bonds sent back to us because they can't be dated until they received our information back to them. So Sands has all the information now back in their hands, waiting to get the bonds back to us. And then we've been in contact with Larry Verio for a pre-construction meeting, and that will happen, if not the last week of this month, it'll be the first week of August, do a pre-construction meeting. We'll send all the bonds and everything and the fully executed contract down to Jeff City. And then we will get the notice to proceed from LWCF and construction will begin. This has been a long drawn out process, and when we do find out, Ryan and I talked, we want to try and do a groundbreaking ceremony. I don't know if the Hall family will be able to come all the way from California for that unless he comes to visit his daughter. But nothing else, we can get a hold of his daughter who lives down in Liberty to come up and do a groundbreaking, and I'll let you know in advance when that is, and if you can get off work to do that for 15-30 minutes to come out and have Mayor say a few words and do a groundbreaking at Hall Park, that's what we'll do. So I'll keep you posted, but wanted to let you know everything's we're about ready to start, so that's a good thing.
What month do you think that will be?
I think after we have our pre-construction meeting, once we get the bonds back, that's what I have to get first. Send all that stuff down to Jeff City. Hopefully I get that yet this week. I called them late this afternoon when Ryan was in the office, called, and she said, let me check on that. So hopefully I hear from them yet this week where I can get it back, send it off down to LWCF, but then we'll schedule the the groundbreaking, and hopefully we'll get the notice to proceed at any time where we can start in August, September at the latest, I would say, because they have a 6-month contract. It's a 6-month contract,
Great,
so,
thank you.
yeah. Any other questions regarding that? Okay, the World Cup cleats and beats, Ryan and I were just visiting prior to the meeting with Ashton and John. The event itself, I thought was really well. We didn't have the attendance that I think that everybody thought was going to happen. But the people that were there, I think, had a great time and were really into it. Ryan was telling the members that the screen was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah. It was insane.
It was you could see it just as good if you were sitting at the back of the hill or if you were standing 5 feet from it. It was just it's crystal clear. So I don't know how the food trucks did on that. Probably not as good as what they wanted, but the inflatables, the kids that were there playing in the soccer camp that we had, I think the kids had fun. So all in all, I just wish we would have had better attendance, but the people that were there, I think, had a good time. Brian, you want to add anything on that?
I think you hit the nail on the head. The people that came and stayed for the game had a blast. They were really into the game. It was a fun crowd to be in. Definitely wish we had better attendance.
It was a pretty hot day, that was another thing. We thought that the event would be an evening event because it was the home team playing. We thought it would be a 7:30 event, and then they scheduled it for 2:30 in the afternoon, and I think that held out some people that were here in town, even though it was a federal holiday day off on June 19th. I just think people stayed at home and didn't come out that day. So it is what it is. We put on a great show for people that were there. Lions Club International Grant. We are to hear. We received an email from Talia. Ryan and I are excited about this. Our fingers are crossed, and it's better. You don't want to count your chickens before they're hatched, as they say, but our friends up in Maryville that did the sub-recipient grant, just as we did, they received a Lions Club International grant, and so we're hoping that ours is. We visited with Talia. She likes our.
Yeah, we got really positive feedback on the stuff we submitted, so I think we're pretty optimistic about it.
I'm optimistic, and like I said, we're supposed to hear back around August 7th, and if that happens, Jesse James Park Playground will turn into, it's going to change the outlook of that. I mean, we're not going to take down the big mega tower. That is the key of that whole playground out there in the web climber, but two of the apparatuses are coming out. And just a update, we will have a handicap accessible swing out there. The parks currently do not have that. The surface will be the rubberized surfacing like what we've done at Lions and at Mac Porter. We will have handicap accessible walkways from the playground to the shelters. On the north and south end, and also handicap accessible sidewalk that leads to the footbridge, which then leads out to the parking lot. So it's going to be more accessible for those type of people. And then I'll turn it over to Ryan about some extra play features that we're doing on that, right?
Yeah, so we've discussed them previously, but I don't have them in front of me right now, so I can't really give you a great description, but we have 7 pieces that we're looking at bringing in. Probably the most interesting one I would say is I don't know what to call it, a long conveyor, essentially.
Yeah.
Where the kids can kind of pull themselves into it, and it is accessible for nearly all mobilities. So it's just literal rollers, and the kids pull themselves along it, and it's really cool, and they love it. There's something similar at the Kansas City Zoo, and the kids are just all over that thing. So pretty excited about that. There's some sensory stuff as far as like sound and musical play equipment, so to speak. It just really cool stuff, and it's I would say it's kind of on the cutting edge of sensory equipment as we know it right now. So I think the playground manufacturers are really out in front of it, and we're going to be getting some pretty fresh stuff for, a park that hasn't, playground that really hasn't seen an update, I should say, not an upgrade, in quite a while. So
when I asked Ryan, I said, hey, give me your ideas on this, and I was at one of the national conferences, and the sensory equipment was what a lot of playground parks and rec departments are going to.
that's the big movement.
And that's what he picked out, and I'm like, this equipment is fabulous. We've talked with Lions Club beforehand, but they just didn't have the money to do this. And Ryan, on the one that he was saying on these rollers, is what I wanted him to explain, and he did a good job of it. It is really, really cool.
Yeah, the kids will be all over it.
That equipment, and like I said, we're gonna take out the teeter-totter and the frog spring rider out there, and then we'll install these pieces in addition to the handicap swing, and with the surfacing and everything like that, it's gonna be a fresh upgrade to that. And it's a matching 50-50 grant. We're keeping our fingers crossed that we get it.
Just to kind of tack on to what he was saying, just to see how everyone is thinking as far as the sensory equipment and everything goes. I think I attended like 3, maybe 4 classes at the state conferences here, just on sensory playground equipment. It's like, and the do's and don'ts, what you should, that sort of stuff. The type of stuff a number 2 goes to. But it was actually really good stuff, and there's things that you're not supposed to say when you're describing it, like all inclusive. You got to be darn sure that it's all inclusive playground equipment is what they're advising now. You say more inclusive, because apparently there's people that audit these things, and we don't want to mislead them. So really interesting stuff. And I think you're going to see a lot more of this stuff in parks and playgrounds in the near future.
Thank you, Ryan. Any other questions on that? Market in the Park, as you all know, has been going on Thursdays down at First Street. We block that First Street off, and we get the vehicles moved from the Lions Park playground area. Booths are set up. They've had anywhere 13 to 20 vendors on any given day, plus the food trucks. We use part of Shank's parking lot on the north end for some of the vendors there, and we have a private-public agreement that we had to do to use that, because that is private parking, and so that's being done. But I can tell you because we have to go pick up the banners and move the barricades every Thursday after 7 o'clock after it closes. But one thing that people wanted to do is have produce down there, and there's produce down there, and they're liking it. And naturally, there's the home baked goods and things of that nature, and there's gluten-free, and Has it went exactly smooth? No, but you know, it's our first year moving it from the school parking lot to there. Next year, it's gonna be much easier for people to get across from Old Church Plaza, because by next year at this time, we'll have the crosswalk that leads across with the light, a crosswalk from Old Church Plaza over to Lions Park, and that'll help alleviate a lot of people trying to cross 33 highway, so.
Quick question.
Sure.
I unfortunately have yet to be to the market here, since you've switched locations. Are you seeing more vendors, more foot traffic since locations have switched? Just out of curiosity.
I have seen more here. I think, you know, people were upset, why are they moving it from Thursday to or from Saturday to Thursday? I can't make it on Saturdays. Well, some people can't make it on Saturdays, and some of these vendors go to other locations on Saturday. So Lawson has theirs on Thursday. We thought, well, the people that want to go to, and some of these vendors go and travel to different locations, we can have ours on Thursday. It's from 4 to 7. People can still get off work, can still go down there and get some whatever they want at the farmer's market and still be able to go home. We're not gonna make everybody happy, whether it's Saturday or Thursday, but you know, it worked for us to try and do it this year, and I'm sure things are gonna get tweaked. Well, at the end of the Labor Day, cause it ends that Thursday after Labor Day or Thursday of Labor Day, one of the two. There'll be a debrief on what we can do, what don't we wanna do, and we'll go from there.
No, it looks, when I drive by, it looks like a good crowd.
I would add to it that, you know, the chamber gave it up. So in reality, if it weren't for the Thursday night, there just wouldn't be a farmer's market in Kearney.
Right.
So I mean, you know, I sympathize with people who, you know, would prefer the Saturday, but the reality is with, you know,
Staffing
this is when we
issues
can
on a
do it, this
Saturday.
is when we can get vendors.
Yeah.
It is what it is, and without it, you know, there just isn't a farmer's market. So that's, you know, something to keep in mind, I think.
So Ryan and I go down there with Ray at 1 o'clock. We get the cars start moving out of there. We chalk all the lines, 11 feet spaces for the vendors all the way down. And thank goodness when we did Lions Park, Ryan and I had the forethought of extend parking on the other side of the creek, on the west side of the creek. And in the summertime, until we had this extreme heat wave, it's packed every day for the people using the park, but they're parking down all the way down to there except the very last stall, and then the food trucks are there, and I think that's a big draw too, that people can come down, grab a bite to eat, do their shopping. The first week, I know that I saw a bunch of people down there, they brought their kids, go play in the park, I'm gonna do my shopping, walk around, we'll get a bite to eat, and then we'll go home. So, all in all, I think it's been a good thing.
Good.
Lisa, you have anything? Okay. Food and Flicks Fridays, we've had probably 2 of the best nights to host movies that we possibly could. We've haven't had the extreme heat when we've had the movies. We haven't had, it's just been a light breeze. We've had food trucks down there. We've had 2 movies, SpongeBob and Barbie. And next Friday is Lilo and Stitch. We're starting the movies at about 10 till 9. And having a good crowd down there. Kids playing around before the movie gets going. And some are bringing their own food, having a picnic with their parents. So it's all fun. I think it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger every year. And again, kudos to Cosentino's Price Chopper. We mention them all the time because they are the sponsor of the movies. The movies went up this year. They gave us $2,000, and then Radiant Life Church kicked in another 250 to cover the increase of the movies, so movies are not costing the city, funding. We got those, sponsored, so.
Yeah, I just had the charge come through on my P card this week, and it was $550 for the license for next Friday's movie,
So,
for one showing.
one showing. The Pitts Bull Ride is scheduled. You guys approved, the use of the rodeo arena from Jay Bettis earlier this spring. That is supposed to be this Friday and Saturday. The weather is not looking the best for Friday. And right now, just so you know, we're still waiting because the one insurance carrier that they had is no longer either supporting that or they couldn't get the insurance through them. So they are looking at a different insurance carrier, and we're supposed to hear something by Thursday. But Jay called last week and said, hey, if we don't have the insurance on Thursday, I'm gonna have to cancel the event. Well, actually, he has to, because we don't have insurance to protect the city, and that's the main thing, is protect the city. If something would happen, a bull get loose, someone get hurt, the city is not covered by that. That's why we have to have that insurance, and it's a high-risk event, and Midwest Public Risk does not cover those types of events at all. That's why the onus is on the promoter, which is Better in the Saddle, that is putting on the event. They have to have the insurance. So
Up to what coverage? I forgot what that
the
was.
Missouri Sovereign Immunity Limits, which is $3.6 some million.
6.2 or something.
Yeah.
6.7, 6.2.
And every year they adjust it. The insurance commissioner adjusts that, and we go by what that is. And usually, like last year, Jay got a $2 million policy and then a $2 million umbrella, because they only sell them in $1 million increments. So they have to get a $4 million policy, but that's for a 2-day event. And it just protects them, and more importantly, it protects us as a city. If something tragic would happen, we have to have that insurance. So
His deadline is Thursday at like
Thursday,
5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, because if he doesn't have it, they'll be setting up Thursday
Yeah.
night
Well,
for the Friday event,
kinda
I mean, the
kinda
contract
close.
says we're supposed to have it.
30 days out.
Pushing it.
Yeah,
And that's important to know too. The contract says we're supposed to have it
30 days out, and we don't,
how,
and we don't.
So it puts the city in,
A
the
precarious-
decision makers in kind of a pickle, to be honest. But we're just hoping they get it and everybody's happy.
And have their event,
And
because
have a
it's,
happy, safe event with
I was
no
gonna go.
rain.
right, you buy insurance, and hopefully they don't have to pay off of that insurance. You don't want anybody to get hurt, a bull rider to get hurt, but we have to have it to protect us as a city. So, anyway, but that happened. You guys gave it approval, and then it went to the Board of Aldermen for final approval, and they approved the contract, and we got that done way earlier this year. This way, for one reason, they could get the insurance and get it bound, and 30 days we would have it, and we just don't have it yet. So, wanted to keep you guys abreast of that situation. Park usage political subdivision policy. Every November or December, we go over our fee structure. If we're going to, based on our recommendations and why we give you these, like for shelter reservations or baseball, softball fees, any fees that we charge the public to sign up to use a facility. We always go over those in either November or December. One thing that has always been on there is we have a great working relationship with the schools. And they are a political subdivision, and we cannot charge, technically we can, we don't, because the school doesn't charge us for use of the gyms for our volleyball, basketball, and I'm not talking just games, we're talking practices, and we've got a lot of teams and stuff going in those gyms, and we don't charge them when they have their fun run, and they've had, I know their basketball team had a fundraiser pickleball tournament, we've had the softball team used, so that type of deal. Well, we're getting requests now from out of town political subdivision wanting to use our facilities. And we couldn't give someone an answer. We asked Sheila and she said, that's a great question. Well, we did some digging, and technically we can charge political subdivisions because it's a user fee. So we could, the school, but the content is we don't want to do that because they use our facilities, we use theirs, cross-country, and like I was stating. But we need you guys to adopt a policy of outside the city political subdivisions using our facilities. And the intent of it was, we've never had that, Ryan and I talked and we
No,
said,
that's
we've never had
happened
that.
since I've been here.
And since it came up, we need to address it. And that would be our recommendation to you, but you guys get to make the decision if you want all political subdivisions inside and outside of the community to use it. That will be the policy. If you don't, then you guys have to change it and say only Kearney political subdivisions. Mid-Continent Library is a political subdivision. So they use our shelters for their story time and things of that nature. We don't charge them. So
Do you have draft policy language?
alls we would need basically would say, political subdivisions outside of the city of Kearney are not exempt from user fees.
So
So where would that be located? Where would you find that policy?
we'll take your recommendation tonight and draft a policy, bring it back to you guys for
For
final
approval.
So you need a motion tonight for that?
We do to draft a political subdivision policy, of outside political subdivisions, using our facility will, have a user fee based on, a policy that we will come back with you next month. Yep,
Would we be able to get that ahead of time before the actual meeting?
absolutely. Like
So we can
when we
review
send
that.
out the agenda, I will send it to you
When's the agenda usually go out?
on
Friday.
either Thursday or Friday of leading up to the, meeting. Yeah, you should have got it either Thursday or Friday of last week when we send
So
it
you need
out.
a motion tonight, you would like a motion tonight to limit the outside political subdivisions, so that they will be charged, right?
I would say, we would like to see a draft policy come before us at the next meeting, regarding outside political subdivisions for review. And then we'll make the motion, you can make the motion and everything, next month.
Yeah, we don't need a motion for you guys to bring a draft policy, do we?
I don't know the rules on that.
I don't
You
think
know-
I
so.
don't think so.
I don't think so.
No.
But I
Okay, so we're
would,
good tonight.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're good tonight, but
Okay.
what we'll do is we wanted you to be aware of this because we've never had it come, and, we do need a policy, saying either yay or nay. If you approve the policy or you don't, then it'll be all political subdivision. So you guys can think on that and we'll go from there.
I have a question though on, like in past meetings and stuff, we've had people come and use the parks and stuff like that. They're not gonna have to come in for this type of thing, say the external political subdivisions,
We
in
would
order
just-
to utilize some of our space, or?
If they want, go
For the
ahead.
purposes of a fundraiser, yeah, they would, because we have to do a,
Park reservation
reservation
agreement.
and that would be.
Kind of like what Jay does.
Yeah, so that's what I was asking, but these other, say Smithville, Excelsior, or any place else, but McCarney will come in and request how they're
Right.
gonna
If it's a
utilize.
political subdivision, we will say, there is a user fee, for that,
Outside of Kearney.
outside of Kearney. Yeah,
But we don't really, we're not gonna be approving, taking up our time in this meeting for people to come in here to say, I
No.
wanna utilize the high school gym at this hour
well,
for
we
this
can't
purpose.
do anything for the high school.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But if it's for park stuff,
Parks, yeah, I
if
meant-
they wanna have a fundraiser, they have to come to you. That's just,
It's the same as any other time. It's just the difference is, for political subdivisions residing in Kearney, we waive the fee.
Fee difference.
So this
Right.
is only for fundraiser, if you're using our facilities to make a profit.
Right.
So like
Right.
Lawson can come down here and use, Lawson School District can come down here and use.
Anybody
the
can
park
come.
and
Yeah,
we're
and
not-
they do.
And
Yeah.
they do.
Right,
Yes.
okay, well, okay, so you're just talking about using a facility to make money,
right,
Correct.
alright.
In a situation where we normally charge a fee. So,
But folks in here in Kearney, if it's a political subdivision within Kearney, you're not charging a fee generally when they're
We do
using our
not.
facilities to,
Yeah,
okay,
at all.
right.
gotcha.
so we're talking even something as small as a shelter reservation, we don't charge the district for that. We've had, like Puppy Pound and stuff come up and we reserve a shelter for them in the morning, no big deal. But the letter is anything we would normally charge a fee for. So mainly that pertains to the fundraisers.
So if
Yeah.
the city of Lawson came down like you say they do, and they use the splash pad, right?
Yeah,
No fee.
But what if they reserved a spot?
We would charge them.
yeah.
Okay.
If there was and generally speaking, it's not gonna be the city. It's gonna be, a not-for-profit. The person who got a hold of us that kind of set this thing off was actually Smithville's high school softball, was looking to do a fundraiser somewhere. And so we're like, we've never really been asked that, so.
Liberty comes up here in the summertime for their field trips. Enjoy the park, have a great time.
Sure.
Public Park's gonna remain a.
If they want to reserve, like you said, if they want shelter reservations for Liberty School District, they would have to pay for that.
Okay.
Yeah, but if they just wanna camp out and have a fun day in the park, which they do, and they bring their, bus them up, things of that, they're sitting in the big green space, they're all over the place.
Well, you
Most-
can't really charge them for that anyway.
No, No.
And frankly, this has happened one time in 20 years that we know of.
Yeah.
I don't anticipate it happening much, but we need to have something to tell the person if it does happen
That
again.
makes sense,
Yeah.
that makes perfect sense.
Yep, yep.
we will bring a policy to you guys, regarding that at the next meeting, so. Just wanted to give you an update on our use tax, capital outlay updates. If you've been by, Mac Porter Park, this last month, it happened after our, scheduled board meeting, but the culverts at Jesse James Park was done prior to the watch party, and the culvert at Mac Porter Park, coming off of 33 and at North Park Lane, got replaced the following end of June, and that is open now. That was closed about a year. And it's open and people are using it and things of that nature, and that was an $80,000 expense.
For a
40
culvert?
What?
For a culvert?
For both,
Two of them.
lot of concrete in that.
The one at Mac Porter Park was crushed. It's really down deep into that creek area. That's gonna be adjacent to the new walking trail. It had sunk. I mean, when you'd go over it, that's why we had.
Yeah, that's why the road was closed. We were advised by our city engineer to
Shut it
shut
down.
that road down, so.
But each one, the Board of Aldermen approved that contract, and each one was around $40,000, so, yeah.
That's high.
Well, it's
It
prevailing
may be
wage.
worth it, but that's a lot of money.
It's what it
Yeah.
costs.
Yep,
I bet, but
So,
There's a lot of engineering that goes into
and that was put
removing
out to
and
bid
installing
too.
it.
So it was a bid process, and so that was the low bid that came in. Also, what has been done, $42,000 was approved of use tax money for new electrical upgrades. Prior to July 3rd, the rodeo arena area and the demo derby area have all new pedestals, all new line. Those lines were in there prior to me coming, and that was 24 years ago. So all new pedestals, they're on struts. They were on just the wood 4x4s, and it was janky, and it looks good. There's 30 and 50 amp plug-ins plus a 110 plug-in on each one of those pedestals. Nice, and they're on strut. And then after the World Cup, we were like, oh, are they gonna get it done? And we didn't want that before July 3rd with all the traffic in there. We waited till after July 3rd, and it just got completed last week. So all the electrical is done in the RV parking lot, so that'll be ready for Jesse James Festival.
How many?
Oh, dang, I wish I knew.
It's close to 20.
20?
Yeah, they also moved two of the poles. We couldn't move one of the poles due to federal regulations with a nesting kestrel. It's federally protected bird. If they're nesting, you cannot move. And we're not gonna get in trouble with the feds, so that pole stayed.
Audubon.
But there's more pedestals than what there was, but they
Quite a bit
ran
more, yeah.
they ran a lot heavier gauge wire. They trenched underneath the road to get over to there instead of saw cutting and us trying to upgrade breakers
And we have a much more thorough understanding of where the lines are now.
yes, we have a
I
map.
mean,
How's usage gonna be handled? Is it just gonna be something online, a first come, first served basis, or is it reserved for like the barbecue people, or what?
Sure, that's a great question, John. For the barbecue cook-off, that is handled through the Jesse James Festival weekend. And Larry Pratt is in charge of the barbecue cook-off. He will assign, if people come up and say, I need electric, he will start assigning these electrical pedestals to them. We don't receive, because it's a contract that's been done before Ryan and I were here, that festival gets to use Jesse James Park for the 2 weekends of the year at no charge. So anything that they pay goes to the festival itself. Otherwise, there is no charge, because we don't allow overnight camping in Jesse James Park, because we don't have any dump sites, we don't have any holding tanks and things of that nature. But a lot of people use it on July 3rd with their tents. We saw them have their electrical plugged into it, and for lights at their tents and things of that nature. But there is no, as of right now, we don't have water out there except for District 3 water, which we pay for. It's not city water, and there is no sewer out there. So that's why we have Johnny on the spots out there, and people don't know that. So. The only other thing that Ryan and I will be working on now that it's Q2 of our fiscal year is we will be having McConnell come out. We had them come out once before. All the areas that we wanted to have done on the trails, Fishing River Trail, we were over budget of what we have allotted in the budget, their estimate. So Ryan and I went back, and we'll go again just to double check what we think. McConnell will come out and measure and give us a new updated, that way we can do some trail maintenance repair on the most severe areas of Fishing River Trail. So one thing we're going to ask We got, I think it's 45,000 this year, maybe 42, 45, in trail maintenance. There was never any maintenance plan money set aside with these trails, and we're gonna have to be playing catch up. But next year, when we do our budget request, we're at least going to request $100,000, because $45,000 doesn't go a long way when you're doing trail
Really
maintenance.
doesn't.
Especially when you're playing catch up.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's, at that rate, it's gonna take 10 years to,
We don't have,
So,
yeah.
they
there-
want it now.
yeah, so there's some areas that are heaving, those are gonna come out. And then there's some areas over by the high school on a loop that we really need, with big wide cracks that we need to get replaced. And, they'll cut those out and put asphalt in. Basically, it's cut patch for right now, and just go down the road, and hopefully next year we'll get way more, because eventually when that's done, we want a seal coat, and it'll protect the trail a lot more. So, anyway. Brian, you have anything else on that? Okay, that's all I have. Do you have anything on use tax? Okay, I'm gonna turn it over to Ryan for our activities and sports.
So our spring leagues wrapped up in the end of June, right before the 4th. Everything went really well this year, with the exception of our uniforms. Uniforms were a nightmare this year. We were disappointed with the service we got from the company we had previously ordered uniforms from. They arrived just barely on time, or late in a lot of cases, so.
And wrong.
And some of them wrong, and we did some pretty substantial research and have settled on a new company, and so going forward, I don't think this is gonna be an issue. That was honestly the biggest heartache from the spring leagues, was the uniform situation. Other than that, pretty normal spring, to be honest. Enrollment was right about where it was the year previous, in total number of enrollments. But it's kind of funny, like enrollment in softball was down, but enrollment in soccer was up. And it's kind of interesting how that balances out year over year. Overall, again, I will reiterate that I think we are at our limit for what we can charge people realistically. It's my belief that we're close to another recession, and I think that, you know, there's going to be belt tightening, and we really don't want to be the thing that's getting tightened down in the budget. And that will bring me to my next, actually, I guess this is the last thing that I put on the list, because we didn't get it on the agenda, but we're going to talk about scholarships again here in a second. Wanted to touch on summer and fall pickleball. Well, summer pickleball, fall sports. Right now we're in the midst of our summer pickleball leagues, and we have about 250 people, down a little bit from last year. Not too much. I think we're down about 15, 16 people. So that's, 7 or 8 teams. I will say that we've had more intense competition this year on our courts, on our pickleball courts, than we have any other year. The people that are into pickleball are really, really into pickleball. So again, that's looking to be a great investment, for the city. Fall sports enrollments are going to be closing early August. We're not 100% sure on the date. We originally had said, okay, August 2nd, we're gonna close down. We might run a little longer. It just frankly depends on how enrollments look. That's typically about 2 weeks earlier than we normally close down our enrollments. But with the New Jersey supplier, we wanted to be real sure that we could get everything in on time. So we're playing that one by ear a little bit, but it'll be early August. It won't be mid-August like in previous years. And, enrollments are starting to come in at a good clip now. It's usually the last 2 or 3 weeks, they just fly in, and that's what's going on now.
If I may interject, Ryan, I know he touched on the uniforms and things of that nature. We pride ourselves on making sure things are delivered on time. We deliver a bunch of these
Yeah,
when we can. We used to have, pickup after a meeting or something like that. They'd swing by City Hall, some would get them on the way out to practice and so on and so forth. We couldn't do that. We had to deliver them, because we didn't have them on time. And we don't want it, why aren't our uniforms here? All it takes is one and then it just spreads, and we don't want that. And that's why Ryan is looking, people pay good money, for their child to participate in youth sports. We need to do what we can to make sure they're getting their money's worth. One of them is getting their uniforms on time, so the coach doesn't have to worry about that and hearing, 10, 12 calls from different parents, where's our uniforms? Where's our uniforms? Well, I'm waiting on the city, then they're calling us too. And, I could sense a lot of frustration with Ryan this year, and I said, you can't control what you can't control. When you've been told the uniforms will be here on this date and they haven't even been started, we've got a problem.
Yep.
So that's why we're looking elsewhere. We just can't afford to have that happen to us anymore.
Yeah,
I just
we're
wanted you
not-
gues to be aware.
It's never happened before, and it's hopefully never gonna happen again. I can tell you it's never gonna happen again with that vendor. Close.
Sorry, Ryan.
That's okay. So fall sports, like I said, we're gonna be wrapping up enrollments here early August. Amphitheater concerts, have gone really well so far. We just had our, Sounds of Santana concert last Friday night. It was very, very hot that day. However, we had a decent crowd for as hot as it was.
Do you have any idea what your attendance numbers are?
We don't have Placer AI anymore. That got cut out of the budget, so, I can't give you an accurate number. I'd say probably somewhere between 400 and 500.
Nice.
They were packed, like undershade areas.
There wasn't a lot of people sitting down low. They were all up high.
Yeah, almost no one on the dance floor.
Except for right at the end when,
The sun was cresting over the hill a
Right.
little bit, and there's,
Well,
but as far as the band itself, phenomenal. They were great. It was a lot of fun. So our last concert's, it's a little bit from now, actually. It's the end of August, August 29th, and it's Outlaw Gin and Whiskey Vendors. That will be the closeout of the season. Then we start planning and, we hope to get more concerts in next season. It's ultimately gonna depend on what our budget looks like.
I just have, unless you guys have any questions, what Ryan stated, wanted to let you know that Oktoberfest is fast approaching. We have an Oktoberfest meeting with the Kearney Enrichment Council this upcoming Thursday, and then also that day in the evening time, there is a Jesse James Festival meeting that I have to attend. So I will be hearing what they have to report and go from there. So,
When's that meeting?
pardon me?
When is the Jesse James board meeting?
It is this Thursday at 6:30 at Jesse James Park up under the pavilion. What I've heard, and I'll find out for sure, but I've heard that they do not have a carnival again this year.
And
I don't have anything else, I'm
I
sorry.
wanted to go back and talk about
Oh,
scholarships.
yes, sorry.
So we talked about scholarships, been a few months ago now, since we didn't have the quorum last month, and it's been all jingled mess. Essentially, I'll recap you guys on what we were thinking. Excelsior Springs, I think they do a really good job with theirs. When someone approaches Parks and Rec for a scholarship, they ask them for documentation about being on free or reduced lunches from the school district. Previously, in the past, they've been able to ask the school district about it. That is slowly changing, I'm sure, with all the HIPAA or whatever laws, privacy laws. They now require the individual to bring in something proving that they're on free or reduced lunches in order to qualify for a scholarship. Now, there's kind of two tiers to it. The free lunches means that they get 100% scholarship. The reduced lunches means they get basically a half-off scholarship, a half scholarship. I think that's a responsible way to continue to grow because year over year, every year, we see an increase in scholarship demand. This year has been record-breaking in the spring. We had more scholarship requests in the spring than we had all of the previous fiscal year. So people are in need, and we want to be able to serve the people as best we can. We've grown quite a bit, in our processes and the way we do things, as well as the scholarship program. I think this is a logical next step. And basically, we would just be asking for your blessing on a very simplified program where we have the person that's asking for a scholarship provide us with some sort of documentation showing that they're on the free or reduced lunch program with the school district.
I think that's fair.
What we would need for that, because that's policy, and Ryan explained it exactly how it would work. Free would be a full scholarship, reduced lunches would be a 50% scholarship. And this way, when they do, we have the backing of the board, because you guys get to set the fees. We recommend the fees and then they are approved by you guys. That's one thing that you guys get to do that we don't have to take to the Board of Aldermen. So we would need a motion if that's what, and we probably can't, because people have already signed up, and I don't know if you've had people.
I have,
Ryan?
I have, and I've kind of dropped the icky to the people that I have some frequent flyers, right? There are people in need in this community. I think it would be we pick a date, and from that day forward, this is our policy. I think that's the cleanest way to do it. I don't know legally.
Can you do it
That's probably a question.
before fall?
Well, we're already taking
Fall
full
enrollment's
sign-ups
almost over.
already.
Yeah, so
So,
we can do it starting for winter. I would recommend at
That's,
this
yeah.
point.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So this is, something that's really near and dear to both Eric and I's hearts, and we want to be able to
No, I think
serve as many people as we can.
I think it's good. It's just maybe some people might be taking advantage of it.
Well,
Hopefully not.
Right.
in theory, that would come to an end with this.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
At least some proof, but I do think it is a priority. I also think that there's probably people out there that would tug at hearts, I think, for this, and I think that they would probably donate to the cause. I know I hate people asking for money and all that stuff, but if there's a blanket, you could even put on there, when the registration, if anybody would like to
So that's-
donate for other people to
that's the
play type
primary-
of thing.
That would be the primary way we get donations. Every single person that enrolls for anything on kearneyparks.com is solicited to donate.
And a lot of people do.
And
They'll,
That's nice, that's
A good
good.
portion, $5 here and there.
And I know
That's
Nick has contributed as well, so that's
Yeah, and, beyond
Nice
that.
thought on his part.
There's rumors of a barbecue pulled pork sandwich sale in the fall. There's rumors of that. I can't confirm or deny it, but a fundraiser barbecue for
or scholarship program.
Oh, that's really nice. That would be good.
Yeah, and we've got a few reliable sources that we can have told us, hey, come to us if you need money. And that's, That's where we're at. So I don't think we're in dire need by any means, but we want to be responsible with the money we do have.
So what I would need from you is a motion allowing the scholarship policy implemented as proof of documentation. And they would get free meals or free registration if they're on free. Reduced would be a 50% scholarship. I just need a motion and second, and
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Ashton and Jennifer. And what date did we say for our winter basketball league start?
Yeah, so for the winter session, starting then.
I have a first and I have a motion and a second for our scholarship policy starting in the winter session. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
That's 5-0 and we appreciate that very much.
That's a good, yeah,
Yes.
it's good for the community.
I tell people all the time, I think this is probably the thing we do that has the most lasting impact in our community. So we're stoked about it.
Yeah. We don't want to see a child not be able to play.
Not on my watch.
What do you envision as the proof they're gonna bring you?
Not 100% solid on that yet, to be honest.
They can probably get that information from Power School
I
pretty
think there's
easily.
I
a
would think so.
form that they
I'm pretty
fill
sure.
out.
There is a
Yeah,
form, but I think
like-
we keep it, I don't think parents generally have a copy of it when it comes to the school, but we should be on Power School. Their parent portal, they should be able to show you that.
One good thing,
I barely poked around it with my child, so I
Yeah,
couldn't tell you.
Well, I know it's in there.
Okay.
I know it's in there, so,
Perfect.
I just don't know if it's in the parent portal.
Well, maybe
one
we
thing
can
for
convince
sure,
someone on
Zach,
there to put
is
it on that side.
when we do our open up our registrations, school is always in session.
Yep.
So that's a good thing where our sessions go for a long time where they can be able to get to the school in case it's not on Power School, where they can get something, bring something to us. A lot of people do it or call in and say, hey, I need this. We'll put a hold on it like they're signed up and then they can bring in the documentation and boom.
I mean, we're gonna make it as easy on the person as
Yes.
possible. And, I've had instances where, policy wasn't 100% clear on how we should handle something like deferred payment, that sort of thing, where we just kind of made a judgment call and, it's always worked out, so. And if not, I'll foot the bill. So that's all I have.
Any other board comments?
I think everything looks great around town. Parks look awesome. I think the rain's helped us a lot. I know you guys have been chasing it probably a lot, but things look sharp around town. They really do.
We're really
The parks
happy
look really, really good.
with the amount of rain we've got at the amphitheater. We still haven't turned on our sprinklers at the amphitheater.
Saving money.
What'd you just do?
I'm feeling pretty confident about the rain for Friday. so
Yeah, yeah,
That'll cover the
yeah.
rain for this week.
Yeah.
Infrequent waterings is what you're supposed to have.
And that's what we're getting. It's been nice. Yeah, but everything looks really sharp.
Any other comments from any of you?
Thank you for all you do. Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa. If no other comments, we will adjourn to Tuesday, August 18th, 2026.
Thank you, guys.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lee.